Hey guys, how's it going? Uh, Brittany and Travis here from Stronghold. We're hosting this Boas special podcast with Low Key and Noah's Boas. Just want to take some time to introduce everybody. Low Key, if you want to start off, name, any information people can get a hold of you, and any of the specialties you're working with.
Hey, my name is Chaz Shillings. I'm with Low Key Boas. You can reach me just pretty much on Morph Market or Instagram under Low Key Boas. And I work specifically with BCI, Boa Constrictor Morphs, specifically probably RDR, VPI, and Labyrinth and VPI Snow stuff. So that's me, and happy to be here. Thank you guys, Brittany and Travis, for having me.
We appreciate you getting on with us. Know a little bit about yourself?
Hey, how's it going, guys? My name's Noah. I've been working with reptiles, since like 12, like a lot of people I meet on here. Been breeding boas for like 9 years now or so. I mostly work with cows. I really like color. Like I don't have like a ton of crazy morphs, but I have a lot of really colorful morphs or babies. So it's mostly my focus. I have a pet rhino iguana as well. She's kind of crazy. And my girlfriend has a tegu, but yeah, other than that, thanks for having me on. We had a pretty crazy tornado watch going on. I wasn't sure I was gonna make it on here.
Where are you at?
Luckily, it's all good. I'm in Connecticut. That's why we were all like, we got like that message on our phone, like shelter in place, all this stuff. So it was just a really, really bad, thankfully. So.
Wow. Well, I'm glad you're okay.
No tornadoes.
Yeah, glad you're able to join us, man.
Thank you.
That's scary.
Yeah, we're based out of Lakeland, Florida, so Central Florida.
You're used to all the crazy
surrounded by storms right now.
Yeah. I think we have 2 tropical storms that are one's in the Gulf, one's in Atlantic. Yeah, so we're just kind of waiting to see what they do. But kind of the state of living in Florida.
Yeah, can't imagine.
So you can come out to the West Coast. You can come out to Arizona. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff.
Any storms ever.
No moisture.
You can no moisture. None of that.
I don't know if I could deal with the heat.
Just burn to death, pretty much. But
yeah,
it's a small trade-off. But
how is that keeping boas out there? When we have high humidity. I mean, we have to run our AC a lot, so we deal with humidity issues just the same way, I guess, as everybody. But everybody kind of counteracts those things. Is there anything you do in Arizona?
Is it particularly difficult?
So yeah, I've tried everything over the years. I've tried, when I was a little bit newer, I used to keep my snakes in the garage. I used to run a swamp cooler, evaporative cooler. That only works to a certain extent. When it gets like above 115 and it actually starts to have a little humidity, then it doesn't work at all. Like obviously everyone knows. So I used to run into some issues with that. And then now I moved to a mini split, and I just I help offset running essentially AC unit with a humidifier. So that seems to help, but it can be really difficult, because it's extremely hot, it's extremely dry. So I do little things like going in daily and spraying, even if the humidity levels are where I'm at. Sometimes it still seems like, for whatever reasons, the snakes have a difficult time, and just offset by spraying just one by one. But yeah, it's extremely hot, but I'm sure keepers everywhere have their own challenges that they work through and face, but just the sheer heat is what we deal with out there. So
yeah, that's one thing that we try to focus on whenever we're on these podcasts, is kind of trying to help the new keepers out. You can do all the research in the world, you can look everything up, and there's just nothing that's really that specific to where you're at. We started with REPTILE, and we ended up moving from that and went to corrugated paper. We're still seeing what works best for us, and we always like to pick everybody's brain and see kind of what are you doing to offset your humidities, your temperatures, stuff like that. So
yeah, during the summer when I am running the AC more, I do switch over a lot of the snakes to cocoa bark, and then that helps boost the humidity a ton. So I do also use paper pretty much year round from Uline. That works well for me, and I like it. I'm pretty OCD with that, but when I'm running the AC a lot, I feel like that cocoa bark helps boost the humidity, and I get way better sheds. The animals seem healthier, happier. So I've kind of been trying that lately. Seems to work. I don't know. What do you use, Noah?
What about you, Noah? How
I
anything you
use
deal
the
with?
same thing. The U-line. I'm the same way. I'm like super, OCD about everything. But I found sometimes a double water bowl is like all it needs because I have a couple that'll like, especially for here it gets drier too because we have the AC. But just like putting a second bowl outside, pretty much everybody, all of my snakes have 2 water bowls now instead of 1, and I usually don't have to mist. There's a few of like the older ones I'll go through it and mist, especially if they're in shed. But I usually don't have a lot of shedding issues. The weather works out pretty well up here, especially for breeding, because I can just kind of use the outdoor temperature to kind of cool my whole room down. I don't really have to like go through and do a whole lot. I just mostly do night drops and let the weather do the rest. But we haven't been getting like cold winters lately, so I actually have had to go through and cool stuff down.
Yeah, that's one thing that we're dealing with right now. I mean, we'll have babies all the way into September this year. It was so hot, we just didn't get the
Oh, nice.
drops. Like we may actually have
I think
one
we
that
have one that's ovulating right
that
now.
are going to be giving birth pretty soon. Right now.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I just paired up a couple a week because they stopped eating, and I was like, "That's not
Yeah.
what they do." And as soon as I paired them up, they started locking, and they're all lumpy now. I was like, "Okay, I guess I'll have a later year. That's fine." Because I had a litter a couple weeks ago, and then I had another girl that reabsorbed, and I was like, "Well, I guess it'll be a smaller." But they're all breeding now, so we'll see.
Yep.
I'm fine with the later year.
Funny thing is the fire male that we have is actually the one that we paired with an Aztec Motley. That's
Cool.
that's the one that's due here shortly. So excited
awesome.
to see the Fire Aztecs is what I wanted to kind of see.
Yeah, I like that. I
Fired
like
a
that
lot with the
combo a
pattern.
lot.
Yeah, you don't really see a lot of the fires in Florida. Like there's not a lot of fire boas, especially at shows. Yeah. This is the one we got from you.
He's a stud. Big dude.
He's a big boy,
Nice.
yeah.
Big dude.
Big puppy dog is the
He's
best
so
part.
sweet.
He's got the best personality too. So
He's a good boy.
Yeah, they're pretty
Great.
intelligent, cool animals. The
Oh.
few that I've been able to make and stuff, I don't know, they're a little different, man. Like that's pretty cool. He's big too. He can breed anything.
I remember when we got him in, I was like, dang.
yeah, yeah. This is he was actually one of our first full size adult boas that we got in, and he's
still
been
so pretty.
He's been awesome. We're excited about that litter. Like I said, we have I think 4 more
that's
females.
his baby's about to drop right
Sweet.
now. She's already dropped her plug and everything. So.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So we may
You have
have
to
a
let me
lot
know.
of birds
Oh, yeah,
on
we
live.
That's cool.
So, yeah, I mean, that's something that we've done is that we've kind of gone back and forth. And I kind of like the idea that you were saying is, paper in the winter, rep chip in the summer, and maybe a combination of the two. Because we were actually looking at doing moss.
I've thought about
Mhm.
through their shed cycle just to help them through that.
So,
Yeah, I know everyone's different. I've
Yeah.
tried Aspen over the years. I like it a lot. It just gets a little bit drier. But I'm really, if I had to choose one thing, the paper I feel like I like the paper. I like being able to sanitize everything, make it simple. I also feel like it's the most cost effective. Like with sometimes stuff we don't talk about, like the cost, like it's very expensive to use any of the cocoa bark products. I know there's a bunch of great products out there, but the paper is cheap, it works well, and I don't know, but everyone's different.
yeah, so we got a question.
And-
Noah, this
And
one's
to
for
keep
you.
it doesn't get in their water bowl.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, this one's for you.
Yep.
They want to know what you did to breed the orange boa. It's on your.
See what's the orange talking about?
I'm assuming they're talking about a coral sunga that I have that's like pretty different from a lot of corals, but she's like super orange and pink. But it basically all originates from the lava line, which is kind of like a not well known pastel line that originated with Scott Seavey at Seavey Exotics, and he had the first few, and then JPC Boas had a bunch. Like bred them and got them out there and realized there was something cool going on. It take about a year to fully color up. But so that particular girl I crossed, her mom is like a double dose lava line, and then the father is a groovy coral Roswell. So he's got like just like two different kinds of pastel kind of mashed together, and I got all sorts of crazy stuff in that litter. I haven't repeated the pairing because I wanted to I put an IMG with that female the year after and made a lot of really cool IMG versions of her that are like just starting to color up. They're about a year old now, but I think I am going to repeat the pairing this year because it was just such a cool litter. I made one more that looked just like her, and stupidly unfortunately I'm not sure what happened, but at 2 years old she
No,
passed away. So I don't have any more that are like her, and I really want to make some more. So we'll
Yeah,
see.
we actually just picked up a double dose lava when we were at Tinley at the
From
beginning of the year
JPC, yeah.
from JPC.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
He's bright. I mean, and that's what's crazy is like I try to explain to
Yeah,
people,
you can't even capture their colors on camera too.
I try to tell everybody if you see a picture of a snake, it's 10% of what it actually is.
especially if it's
Yeah.
inside.
Yeah.
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 That's why I
Yeah,
take.
finally we got outdoor pictures again, which helped.
Yeah, not everyone can do it because it's dependent on where they live. But yeah, if you can take your pictures outside, that's a much better accurate represent. Oh man, yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean he's just getting
Yeah.
brighter and brighter too.
That's beautiful.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've got a bunch of weird ones. I have this male. He's almost like green. He has like these like green and purple hues on him. And I bred him to another one that was similar. And I have like I posted him recently on my Instagram, but he's got these like these medallions and markers down the side, and they're almost like a lavenderish like hue to them. It's like this like transparent color. It's so cool. And like I said, it really takes like a full year for you to like be able to see what they're gonna do, because I have a whole, I've taken pictures of that crazy coral that person was talking about since she was born, and you can see like her transition and
Yep.
how long it took, and how, I mean, you can't even recognize her anymore from her baby picture, and all the snakes from that litter you can't recognize. I mean, they're completely different. And I've had some that I've sold like thinking they weren't going to color up, and then the person will send me a picture like, why does it look like this? I'm like, come on. So I try to keep everything for at least 6 months to a year, but
That's a great
then I
point.
would
Like
keep everything long term. So
we got some baby boas as part of like like a group deal for like some
Yeah.
adults that we wanted, and we got them in, and they were like, oh, these are cute, they're cool. Just what Abby
Yeah,
Het Bloods.
Abby Het Bloods, but they're having this weird color change
As
going
they're
on.
growing up, like they're just crazy looking.
They're actually getting like reds that are coming through the dorsal. So
oh, nice. Yeah.
it's just a real interesting. I'm actually
seeing them change color like as they age.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see how they age out because, so we actually picked up two snakes recently, two adults that were in the original Pied project, the babies that were sold.
Mhm.
Oh.
They didn't prove out.
Yeah.
What they think. I've gotten a lot of the backstory. I met with Dave Palumbo down here and talked to him a little bit
Yep.
because he has a pair from that same group. And he said that they think that it may have potentially been the female that it was paired with may have locked with a male before that, and that's where they came from, not from the
Yeah.
actual Pied. But they're
Did you-
really
So it's like
Travis, did you get those
Storage.
from Tony?
yeah,
Yeah.
the patternless ones.
The what?
They're patternless. They have like almost no
Yeah.
pattern in the back.
Yeah. So in last year, I bred one of those females. He sent to me on a loan to a IMG T positive snow, and I got a few babies, and that's the same thing. I was expecting like, holy, I'm going to be able to pick out these pieds. It's going to be awesome. This is going to be the best litter I've ever had. I even told my wife, like, this is going to be it. Like, watch this. Like, this is going to be a big deal. And then when the babies came out, I'm like, what's this? Like, they don't even look, they were all normal. They didn't even look like, the mom is stunning, right?
Yeah.
Stunning. Like the mom looks like, if you were to pick out, you can think of Labyrinth in the same realm. Like Labyrinth is essentially het crystal, and that's why they look so crazy. So
Right.
when I saw those pieds, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. That's it. So when I got the babies, it was a smaller litter, but I was like, oh, what is this? And then when Tony had his other litter, that's when we figured out maybe this is not what we thought it was. So I'm glad you have them now. But I guarantee you have one of the females that I think I bred the previous year.
I think we do have the female that you bred. It was almost completely patternless, super clean back.
Yeah.
Big,
So
big girl.
and we actually got him. Because he was honest with me. He told me what was going on with him.
Mm-hmm.
And I just love their colors, and that's where like I'm trying to find something Central American that even remotely looks like them, and I can't find anything.
Did you, with the litter you got from her, were any of them like reduced pattern or patternless like her at all?
No, and I'm sure Tony showed you the pictures of what he produced.
Yeah.
I made snakes that looked very similar to his, but not with no reverse pattern. They didn't have quite the color of what he had. They were really just like, they looked like centrals. They looked like, but not even. I was very surprised. I'm not sure why they came out like that, but I fully expected to make snakes half of the litter look exactly like mom or better, with IMG on top. So no, I wasn't able to make anything remarkable, and that's when we kind of started talking. We did like, well, so what are the odds? What are the odds that you didn't get anything that looked het pied or a visual pied? And they were very small. It was impossible essentially. So I think that's when he started to be like, something else is going on here. And that's when he found the backstory that you talked about.
Yeah, and that's and the thing is like, we got them. We have an Abby Scoria that we're gonna pair with the female potentially, and
that would be great.
Some super clean Scoria if it'll pass, and that's where. Is there any crazy projects? I know we all hold some of our stuff back. I get it. Like, is there any projects you want to talk about that are coming out this year to kind of hype up for, or
you guys both just produce really amazing animals, so I'm interested to hear.
Yeah,
I want to hear.
You're like 3 levels above everybody else over there.
No,
I always want to see close. I'm like, where did he get that? Like, what did he do?
I've already had all my litters. I didn't have the greatest year, but honestly, I'm super thankful. Like, I made enough of the right snakes that I wanted to make, and I feel like every year I kind of have like, I'm sure like what Noah does. Like, you have like a goal, like your goals of what are a couple things, projects that you really want to push forward. So I really like Anery leopard stuff, and I was able to make some Scoria jungle labyrinths, double het Anery leopard. I was pretty excited about that. And I was able to make some VPI blood stuff, like visual VPI blood stuff that is het anery. So that was a big deal for me because I think the combination of VPI snows and bloods will be revolutionary. So I'm pushing that forward with everything I got. And then I was able to make some cool fire, labyrinth, motley, and a bunch of cool combos because I just really like how the fire and labyrinth interact. So I made some other stuff. I also made some cool blood and Scoria stuff, but I made enough of the right stuff that I can keep the stuff that I want and hopefully make a lot of customers happy and make some stuff that people have been asking me about. But I think the truly revolutionary stuff is still yet to come. And I think Noah actually is on the right track with a lot of that if he wants to talk about what he's doing.
Noah,
I kind of in the similar boat. What's that?
You gonna spill any of the beans, or are we gonna get the?
Yeah, no. I don't really have. I mean, I've got a couple things I like to kind of like keep tucked away and pull them out. Right, like the Roswell blood project. Like, I didn't really tell anybody I had them, and then just kind of like post them. It's fun to do, but I have a lot more ammo, I guess, for them now. A lot more just like blood stock in general. Like, I had a lot of like hets and pos hets, and I was kind of tired of it. So I have some older blood females that'll be coming up this fall that I'm really excited for. This season, I'm pretty much, unless the snakes I have breeding take, I'm pretty much done. I only had 2 small litters of some colorful IMG lava stuff, but next year is going to be kind of like a bigger year for me. I have a lot of the holdbacks from, the litters from like 3 or 4 years ago that I've been growing up, the males. I've got a couple older females from that are double dose lava line. I have like a groovy lava Roswell female that'll be breeding, so I'm gonna put her with a hypo IMG groovy coral that I produced like a few years ago. You know, it's kind of like next year is like my year where everything that I
Comes together.
bred, because like I bred everything as like a big project basically. Like I made all my females 4 years ago, and now they're up to size, they're like almost ready to go. All the males I made from this season and the season before will be up to size and ready to go, so I'll have a lot of cool labyrinth stuff, a lot of cool Roswell bloods, and then hopefully some really crazy corals and sunglows and albinos.
That's awesome.
Knows. I'm definitely getting heavier into the labyrinth cow stuff specifically, because I don't see a lot of it out there, and that's just mainly what I work with. So I had a litter last year of labyrinths, snow, but I only got 4 labyrinths out of it, which is kind of a bummer. But kept them, and then I just got one of the Anery labyrinths from Scandinavian Boas from his litter. He had a Moonglow labyrinth litter over in Sweden.
Oh yeah,
so
that was a nice litter. Those
we get
babies are
him,
killer.
and that's gonna help out. Oh man, I was messaging him every day when he told me about that. Like, drop yet? Yeah, so he definitely helped me out. So I'm excited to get him and get him into the projects, because it's I was like at a point where I needed to get some like new blood in as well. Like I like keeping like the line strong and everything like that. So I'm excited to take everything I produced last year and the year before and start breeding with them. It's like the most rewarding thing.
Yeah, that's kind of what we're doing right now. Is we have kind of our leopard side. We're doing a bunch of different leopard things, and then we're doing the blood as the other side and trying to get some different things into it. Yep.
Get them to link up.
Yeah.
Yes.
We actually we picked up an awesome female that will go this year for us. She is a super mandarin belly
Gorgeous.
leopard. She is neon orange.
I didn't even know about mandarin belly until like maybe like a month or two ago, when my buddy over in Germany kept telling me about, you should look into this, and then he showed me something. I'm like, oh my goodness, like that's a great new gene. You're talking about new bloodline and stuff, and mixing stuff like that. That's something we need to have around a lot more of. Yeah, I was unaware of it. I don't know how.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I seen this snake, and like I said, I went and picked up a couple snakes and went to the facility, and I was asking him like, hey, I'm kind of short on females this year. Do you have any females that are around that age or that you're ready to part with? And he showed me this snake, and I was like, what in the hell is that? Like, and I was like, he's like, there's no hypo in it, and the oranges are absolutely insane. Brittany's going to get it right now out of our other room where we have a couple of the other snakes. But we have that, and then we have an albino mandarin belly that we get that will be here this week. So I don't know if you'll be able to see her that well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That's a great looking adult.
She's gorgeous.
That's a male?
Female.
Oh, I was gonna say, God damn.
Yeah.
That's a female,
That's a monster.
yeah. Got some big males.
That's awesome.
That's similar.
What are you gonna breed to her again? I'm sorry if I missed it.
So we're kind of on the fence about a couple things. I wish one of our males was ready this year. We have a Motley Labyrinth het leopard, and I think that would be a absolute monster. Like,
Yeah.
One of the guys here in Tampa made the Labby
Leopard. The Labby leopard.
Yeah.
and in person,
It's incredible, you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even see
Yeah,
it.
when I saw the pictures of it, I was like,
Oh, I gotta check
oh
that out.
wow. Oh wow.
'Cause
Like
we
Go
seen
ahead.
the pictures, and
That's
then we
cool.
went to Tampa
It was at the
Repticon,
Repticon, yeah.
and we have one or two snakes from his collection too. An Inca,
He's a big Inca guy.
big Inca guy, and
yeah.
we seen him there, and I was like, what in the the colors are just absolute insane. So
Yeah.
Like a labyrinth pattern with leopard color, basically.
Well,
It's almost patterned like this leopard, but like strange. I don't
Yeah,
know.
so like
They're
almost.
like,
That's
Go
cool.
ahead.
I gotta look it up. That's
I,
awesome.
I'll have to show-
they still, you can still tell they're a leopard, but the
Yep.
color is like
Yeah.
boosted times 100. Like the crispness of the boldness of the pattern,
It's
and
like
then the color
pattern
underneath.
is, but extremely contrasted. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the leopards that he made in the litter
Oh,
are
yeah.
are pretty dark. Like they're pretty dark. There's some there's some work you could do there to really boost that up. Like obviously you could have the hypo gene, but that when I saw that, I was for the first people. I think that people forget like the first generation of what stuff looks like. Like when
Yeah.
VPIs first came out, when call albinos first
Yeah.
came out, these things weren't banging. Like these
Yeah.
things
Oh, yeah.
looked like. If I showed you pictures of the first VPIs that I saw when I first got in the game, people would think those are normals. Those aren't VPIs.
Yeah.
They couldn't be. They couldn't be. They used to
Yeah.
be extremely white, extremely peppered, zero color. But so fast forward to now, when you see the first generation of what you're starting with the leopard labyrinth, that's super impressive, bro. That's it really was impressive.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna very soon. You're gonna see more of these combinations that people have been slow to pair up.
Yeah.
And you're going to start to see like revolutions of bringing bloods more back into circulation, leopards more back into circulation, as people realize like, oh, this stuff, that's the key to it.
Well, and a lot of people, I feel
It's
like
even
they
like
don't. Go ahead, no, I'm sorry.
no, worries. Go ahead.
I just see a lot of people shy away from the recessives,
Yeah.
where I think that's the game changer. I
They
think
want instant gratification.
Yeah.
That's why we're in it for the
well,
long run.
that's-
We're actually building a facility in our backyard. It'll be what a 50 by
1900
38,
square foot.
50 by 38
Oh,
facility to kind of.
That's awesome.
I need that.
Yeah. We need it too.
Yeah.
I could do a lot. I
We
could do a
all
lot
need
with that.
Yeah.
I could do a lot with that. My room looks identical to yours, bro. I have like all the way to the
Yeah.
ceiling. I spend a lot of
Stacked.
time on a ladder.
Stacked, yeah.
Like I bring people over and they're like, what are you doing? I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm making this work. Like I'm doing it. But that's cool, man. You have enough space to chill and relax. Good for you guys.
Yeah.
So that's where whenever the National Breeder Show comes in, we're gonna, it's about 2 hours from us, from Daytona to here, and we just kind of want it as like kind of a hangout for everybody too. Like
After the shows, we have the
build that community.
show. Yeah.
That's cool, yeah.
and that's what we've loved about this is like we're both bodybuilders too, so we both compete, and the bodybuilding community is awesome too, but the reptile community has just been so much fun. I mean, you got 10% of every population that messes up for us, but it's been fun. We're having a lot of fun with it. We're breeding the stuff we want to do, and talking to guys like you guys and finding out what's some cool things that are kind of outside the box. And like I love the fire IMG stuff. I don't know why people don't do more of that. And we're just trying to we're trying to get into localities too. It's just hard to find any pure lines anymore, and that's what kind of worries me is that we bought some Sonoran het leopards, and then one of them proved out for het call, and then I instantly went, oh man, if it's got call in it,
it can't be that pure.
Yeah. And that was kind of an eye-opening.
Was a strange situation.
Yeah. And that was an eye-opener to the whole thing. Is like,
and it's like who lied to who, like maybe the guy you got it from totally thought that, or was told anyways. You never know where the communication. Yeah, no, I hear you on that.
Yeah, locality. We could use a lot more locality breeders for sure. I feel like everyone's chasing the next more for line breeding stuff to try to create something new, but there is something to be said about those people that just do localities and focus on retaining those natural looks like what they would and refining what they'd be like in the wild. There used to be a lot more guys. I mean, 20 years ago when I first got into it, it seemed like there was definitely more. Nowadays it seems like very few, but at least we have who we do have. I know Mike Weitzman at basically Boas still does a lot of localities, northern Brazilians, southern Brazilians and stuff, but I don't know. I don't see that much out there anymore.
I see a decent amount at the shows up here in New England. There's like it's like smaller people. I think Mark Busby's up here. They don't have like a crazy huge collection, but they have like they'll be at the show with like a table and they have like a couple litters of locality stuff. But I feel like I up here I've seen a lot more for sure. But I haven't been down to any of the Florida shows. I haven't been to Tinley in like 4 or 5 years now.
Maybe I'm speaking out of place because I don't go to any shows. I just know who I talk to, and it's probably I'm talking to the wrong circles. But yeah, I'll take
That's just up here.
more breeders is better, I think.
In Florida, we don't see a lot. I mean, we have some localities. We have 3 doom rolls. We have
a Guyana. In Florida, I think you see a lot more imports than you do. Locality breeders.
There are a lot of
Surinamers that come.
Yeah.
A lot of Guyanas that come in.
Yeah, just because where you guys are living at. Yeah. I could see that.
See a lot of like longicatas and like just other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We had a question. What is the boa called? That's black with red and orange eyes. I did see something over in Europe. The laser eye.
I've seen
probably some kind of IMG.
Laser eye.
Yeah.
VPI IMG sometimes.
Yeah, maybe an IMG blood that's really good quality. I don't know. I don't know what he's referring to.
Yeah, and that's where it's been crazy. Is like figuring out the eye colors and the.
There's also a lot of fake things on the internet, so be careful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's when you maybe if you're newer and you're unsure or you don't know, to establish a relationship, like I'm sure we've all talked about, with probably a more reputable breeder or someone that's a little bit known. That way, hopefully you're getting honest information and honest take, not being taken advantage of. So I don't know. That's probably a whole different segment, but
yeah. I think you can go a long way in that segment. That's a whole show in itself. So, Noah, what localities do you enjoy? Do you specialize in?
I don't have I have Doom Rolls boa that's just a pet, but I don't have any localities actually. I did really want to get the Parsons, the Guyanas and the Parson line ones, but at the end of the day, I was like, well, it's kind of just a Roswell ladder tail, and I already have Roswell ladder tails, so I ended up just not doing it. I did have Hog Islands and Argentines for a little while, but like we always say, like we got to keep what we love and like what we're really passionate about. And for me, it just wasn't there. For me, it's all about the color. So I ended up just downsizing and having a lot more space for the just BCI morphs now. So, but love localities, love seeing them. I have a lot of friends that have Argentines. I know Mike Curtin from Scattershot Exotics has a lot of Argentines too. And I've seen the T positive Argentines now. I don't know if there's any controversy over that or not, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's where I seen at Tinley, one of the guys mixed the Argentine T positive with the RDR and
diesels.
Yeah,
those are
beautiful.
They're beautiful. I mean, eventually, I don't know. I'm all for keeping stuff pure, but some of that stuff, I think eventually you should mix it. Try it. I mean, for a long, long time, when I first got in the hobby, I feel like people were very averse to mixing leopards and bloods and all this stuff with call or with VPI. And now look, I feel like that's where the industry is heading for by and large, is people are mixing all these double recesses together to try to get different looks, manipulate the color pattern. And if you're going for pattern, leopard is 100% probably the strongest gene in boas that you can use. So why not?
I think that's one of the biggest arguments with leopard is they say it's recessive. I say it's dominant because it has a change to everything.
All your
Yeah, 100%, especially with motley. Like you could pick out a motley het leopard out of 1,000 snakes. You'd be like, that's it. It sticks out like a sore thumb. It definitely has a visual phenotype or visual effect on the het forms for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I like the het leopard stuff sometimes better than the leopard combination.
Better than
Yeah, it makes some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of reverse striping.
Yeah.
That's one of the
too.
things I'm excited to try to produce blackberry leopard, and like that's gonna be.
Oh yeah. That's a ball python, no? Or a blood?
I can't see it. It's hard for me to really see it.
That's
Mostly a blood
that's a
python,
Sumatran
yeah.
short-tail.
Yeah. There you go. Boom. Boom.
She's the short tails. We have about 30 short tails as well.
Oh,
That's an adult.
Wow.
It's an adult Sumatran.
Those are her babies. She loves the.
Here's a little baby.
Oh yeah. I had one of those in college.
When I was young. Yeah. When I was young, I worked at a reptile shop, and it was like every single one, whether it was a short tail or a blood python, was just like this vicious like horror. I always just was like never into them. And then my friend, you guys probably know, Jeremy Turgeon, we like kind of grew up together, and he started getting them, and then I finally came around, and like the teen eggs and stuff are really cool for the bloods. I love those. And but yeah, man, they can really punch when they want to bite though.
Yeah.
Well,
Their whole body explodes.
and not to get off the boa thing, but the pythons they're one of those things that they haven't been in captivity very long. We have our boas. We take for granted sometimes that they're domesticated to the point of lap dogs. And that's where like I try to explain that to people whenever they.
Yeah, they're
talk
just a
about the
lot
snakes.
closer to wild.
Yeah, I tell everybody it's like I wouldn't go out in the woods and go pet a wolf, but if I come to your house, I'll pet your dog.
Yeah.
That's kind of at where we're at with boas. Boas have been in captivity, especially these high-end morphs.
Highly morphed. Yeah.
They're 5-6 generations in. They don't even know.
Yeah.
If you put them out in the wild, they wouldn't survive a day.
Yeah, they wouldn't. Yeah. I will say, as I start to mix some more of these combos together, like I have triple het VPI blood leopard or VPI or snow leopard, some of the stuff are RDRs and bloods and stuff. I'll have parents that are both calm as day, nice as can be, never tried to hiss or bite. And I've had a couple litters recently where like I don't know if it's me or what I'm doing, but the whole litter is like wild. Like I don't know what it is. Like maybe you guys have a different insight, but I have to apologize to people, like even when they get snakes, because I'm like, I'm sorry, like they're not nice. And I think nowadays, especially newer keepers, they want snakes that are a little, I mean, at least handleable and or able to handle or not going to kill you. But I don't know.
I think some of that.
I've had.
Go ahead, Noah.
I've had like decent luck with that up until I freaking got Roswell's and the RLTs, and then it was she took a long time. The female I got to tame down, and she's like very handleable now, and it's fine. But I got another one that still is not like, it's a hands-off boa for sure. But yeah, their babies are crazy. Like pulling them out of the goo, they're striking at you and stuff. Like I've like usually not really experienced that, but most of like my cows and my corals and stuff, like they're super laid back. And the aneries sometimes. I have a lot of issues with aneries being just like total jerk, either ghost or anery, either one. They're just total jerks sometimes. But yeah, no, it's I don't get it, because like parents are like the most docile. Like I let my nephews hold them and stuff. Like they're super friendly, and then the babies come out and they're just crazed.
Yeah. Have you guys noticed with the bloods? I know it's you talk to different breeders with the bloods.
Yeah.
The litters are very picky about eating. They don't eat as heavily as some of the other morphs.
You guys, we had a litter that's like half visual blood, half pet. Mm-hmm. Our visual babies took 3 weeks before they would eat. Yeah.
And then didn't even eat consistently for a little bit.
Our hets like clockwork. It was.
I'm newer to making bloods. I've only had, I think, probably 4 or 5 litters of stuff, but I think for this first time this year, I've noticed that maybe the bloods are taking longer to eat. Yeah, it's interesting.
And then we saw it with our litter, and I was like amazed. It was literally like half and half.
Especially when they're super aggressive. I always feel like aggressive snakes tend to eat better, and I'm like, well, dang, you should be eating, but I don't know, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, we can't even say it's down to the food source. So we raise almost all of our food sources. We have rats, ASFs, quail, and rabbits.
Oh, that's great.
And
good for you guys.
Oh, we got a whole ecosystem.
Yeah.
We have
I wish
we
I
have
could
a
at
water
least do
monitor
mice.
that cleans
Oh.
up.
I'm with you, Noah. If I could do the mice myself, it'd be great. But there's only so
Just at
much
least
time.
mice, yeah.
Yeah, there's only so much time and stuff that I
Yeah,
could feel like
they
I do
stink.
myself. And yeah,
Can't go on vacation.
yeah, I've tried it before for 2 years and it almost broke me. Yeah, I was like, I'm done with these. So I always give mad props to people that raise their own
Yeah,
stuff,
no, I hear you.
especially do both breeders of all different species and produce your own rodents. Like, that's a large accomplishment in my eyes.
I appreciate it. We're trying.
Yeah, and your animals will be better for it. I feel like you're controlling exactly what they're eating.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we kind of got that from the bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Our bodybuilding history is like, if you can't eat chicken year round. It's just not. It's not something that's good for you. So we tried doing mice, and it was a nightmare.
Mice are terrible.
They're too fast. They're just they're
Yeah, they suck. Yeah.
So we have a couple small colonies of ASFs, and they handle any of our picky ones, and then our colony of all of our rats do most of the feeding, and then quail, we switch them up every once in a while.
Wow.
But it was hilarious. That's how I know these snakes wouldn't survive in the wild. We had our big boas cuddling with the dang quail. They wouldn't even eat it. They were just sitting with it.
Yeah.
Like they didn't know it was a food source.
That's funny.
Oh man.
My hat's off to you guys. Breed ASFs too. Those are wild, bro. Those are.
I have
They eat so much food.
Sorted and selected all of our little ASF breeders. It's one rack of ASFs.
They eat a lot of food, including themselves.
They do. And I swear they stuff a lot of food in their bed.
The mice will do that.
Well, that's one thing that we found out. Everybody with the rats, they would feed on top. On top of the grate. Let them eat through it.
Yep.
What we found is we put it in the bedding or like in the front, and we feed half the amount of food because they don't store it. They don't hide it.
They're not crumbling it into a million pieces.
I never thought about that.
We go through probably less than half.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been we've really tried to dial everything in, and that's been our goal. Is like, we want to do this for the long run, and we want to be sustainable. So I mean, we've been looking at different ways of doing things, and that some of them are outside the box. But hey, I mean, if it's working, we're gonna keep running with it. And so
you're controlling as many variables as you can. I feel like within boas, all I know is boas. I don't know any other species really, but it can be difficult. It can be very difficult. But if you can control the light, temperature scales, the humidity scales, all this stuff, cleanliness of your cage, sanitizing, and your food sources, you give yourself the best shot to be successful. And with other people, like with newer people, that's why I say, like, if you do the baseline things in order to create an environment for super healthy and happy snakes, hopefully when it comes time to breeding season, you can follow whatever program it is that you want to follow with breeding, and you'll be more successful as opposed to just buying whatever rodent source is out there, whatever is the cheapest. You don't know where they're eating. You don't know where they came from. It makes a big difference. I was just talking to my mentor, Mike Weitzman, about food, and he literally thinks that one of the most important things you can do for your snakes is feed them healthy, clean rats. He said he's tried changing his food sources up to stuff that he maybe is not up to his normal standard, and he said it flat out just doesn't work. Like the litters don't come out the same, the females don't bounce back the same, they don't have the same muscle tone. It's different. So that you controlling that, your animals are going to be way better off for it, even though it's probably a ton of hassle and work.
I mean, we've got it down pretty efficient, but I'm here with the animals all the time. This is what I do.
Yeah, she's finished. She's going back to school and getting her secondary nursing degree. So I own an environmental company, so I do industrial water treatment systems. So I'm traveling, working a lot, and if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't have this, and that's where she holds it down for us, and it's fun.
Props to you, Brittany. Props to you.
So, but
that's awesome.
Is there anything that you guys want to touch on, like in the industry? I know we had some questions before about shows, show etiquette or buying etiquette. I know, we hooked up with you on Morph Market is how we ended up getting the fires from you. Is there anything that, if you were to educate a new buyer into buying snakes online, are there any pointers that you would give to them?
You want to answer? Or I have some stuff I can answer, but go ahead.
I guess the biggest thing is just do, like everything else, do your research and, check out the buyer, especially with Morph Market. The ratings are right there. There's Facebook groups you can go in. Has anybody heard of this guy? Does anyone know who this is? There's definitely a lot of people out there, especially sometimes, not so much of the Morph Market auctions, but other auctions that are selling animals that are in not great shape, and there's a history of it. And then regardless of who you're buying from, whether it's some random person or someone online, you got to quarantine everything. I mean, I quarantine for 6 months. I test the animal for arena when I get it, and then I test it 6 months later. Like like I said, whether it's my friend or some random person, and it's my quarantine room is on the other side of the house. Like it's not anywhere near here. And yeah, I mean those are pretty much the only two things I'm on. This quarantining is not pushed enough, I don't think.
I agree with you 100%, Noah. Even when I was first getting into it, I was it took me a long time to figure out, hey, I should probably be practicing this. I just didn't care. I wanted to get the cool snake and get it in there with my other snakes and look at this and let's go type of thing. But that's also backfired on me through the years. Testing is also a newer thing that I would recommend to newer people. It's very easy to test snakes. Before, it used to be a pretty big deal. But as far as like my advice I would say identify exactly what it is, at least 1 or 2 genes that you want to commit to, because I feel like a lot of new buyers, they love everything and everything's cool, and including myself, that's how I was. So I see a lot of people that don't quite understand the genetics or the specific morphs, and they end up buying stuff and then having to go back and refine their collection down the line. So just do your homework. And then also I think of how I've always done it is I've looked at people that I've wanted to be like, and I've looked at, well, how have they gotten to where they've gotten? So I don't want to be a mass market breeder, and I don't want to be, I want to produce a certain number of boas, and I want to produce a certain quality of boas. So I looked at people that I admired and I tried to emulate what they do. So I would pass on the same advice I think that I got is identify people that can mentor you, that do things the right way, that have a great reputation online. And you can buy great boas from any breeders nowadays. There's people that have very small collections that make high-end animals, but identify people that you can look up to that are maybe willing to pay it forward and help mentor you through and help you make some decisions, and hopefully they're trustworthy. And stick to a couple projects early in the beginning, because I think a lot of people in the beginning go out and get everything under the sun. And then when they start to realize what's going on and what they really like, then you have to cut it back. Hey, I did it, bro. I did it. When I first got into it.
We've all did it. Yeah, we've all done it.
I'm just saying, because now is a great time to be a buyer. The best time in boas that I've seen to buy animals, to build a collection. You can build a world-class collection for pennies on the dollar of what things used to be. So identify what exactly it is that you like and trim it down beforehand.
Everything.
I get it. I'm with
They're
you,
all
bro.
amazing.
I do. But until you really understand things, you're just doing yourself a disservice, and you're just potentially wasting time and money. And snakes, that's what it is. It's time and money. You may be delaying yourself from the project that you really need to be getting towards by focusing on some eye candy that just popped up on Morph Market. And everyone's got great snakes. Everyone's got different projects. We all can't do the same thing, but that's what I would say is like, identify what you love and chase it with all your heart and commit to it. And make that the priority above other things.
Well, and one thing that I would add to that is pay attention, because so where I messed up, and I'll admit it, where I messed up was I didn't focus solely. I focused more on the morphs that I liked and not the sex of the animal.
Yeah.
So I ended up with
we get the females.
Like,
yeah.
see, I mean, I didn't even think about that. We have some of the coolest freaking snakes. If I could put 2 males together, we would have world-class. But in my head, it was like, oh man, there's an Inca het
Whatever,
blood,
yeah.
het albino. I'm like, that's het call. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's a freaking awesome snake. And then I went, crap. I don't have the female to go with it. You know what I mean? Like, and that's where, you know, my recommendation would be, like you said, pay attention. We bought snakes that we loved because that's what we did. Everybody we talked to was like, hey, buy snakes that you enjoy. And that's what we did, because when we started off with a Super Moonglow and an IMG were the first two morph snakes that we bought. And they're both males. You know, we ended up with male heavy because, you know, we just found snakes that we enjoyed. And looking back at it now, we probably would have spent a little bit more money, but we'd be a year closer with the female if we'd have bought the female versions instead of the male versions.
The more and more time that I breed snakes and the more litters that I produce, it's like something weird. And I bet Noah's the same way, but I love females. The males are merely interesting to me. I'll make sure I keep as many females as I physically can keep from a litter. The males, I'm cool. You can have them. I can make another male. It's very easy to raise up a male. I can have multiple males, raise one female. I used to be, even when I was younger, I'd see a female online. I'd be like, well, I don't want to raise that up. It's a baby. And I'll just,
that's 4
I don't
years.
know.
I got a 4 year.
I keep as many females as I can. And then when space becomes an issue or other things become an issue, then things can go. But I don't think anybody in the snake service, or as long as Boas, will do themselves a disservice if they just hoard females and raise up females, because down the line, you're going to wish you had them. It's hard to raise up a female,
100%.
and the females are what make us successful and what make the litters. And it's no disrespect to the males or anything, because they're great, but in my regards, I just think they're truly the most important, and I try to keep as many as possible. If someone can start their collection off with buying 2 males and 10 females, I would be like, good for you, bro. You're going to do it. You can get more males down the line, but you can't get those females. You need those years. It's going to take time.
Well, that was one of the things that you don't, and I think that's the thing, is that you don't see a lot of females on the market because of that.
Because they're keeping them alive.
And I mean, and that's what I was talking to one of my buddies the other day, and he was like, man, these snakes are freaking awesome. Like, I'm like, but think about this. I got their third-rate snake out of that group. You know what I mean? Like, there's 2 more snakes or 4 more snakes that were better than this one that somebody has in their collection that bred it. So, I mean, that's where, like, I think that when you see these animals, it's the tip of the iceberg. You're not seeing the top echelon of what these snakes can possibly be yet.
I mean, 100%. I agree with you. So that's a nice story.
Those are, he is freaking crazy.
Beautiful.
Like, almost completely pink.
Beautiful.
That's gorgeous.
Beautiful. I gotta run in a second, Chris. Sorry, brother.
No, it's all good. We can know if you want to stay on, we can talk a little bit more, or if you got to run, you just let us know. We just enjoy having the conversation. So
we'll just hang out and talk snakes all night. So
right.
Hold on. I'm trying to figure out. I just want to thank you guys again. It's been a real pleasure to talk to you guys. I love this stuff. I'm super passionate about it. Props to you guys for starting this podcast, inviting people on. I think we need to have more people like this. So feel free to reach back out to me anytime. I'll come on and just shoot the crap and talk snakes with y'all.
Friggin', it's been awesome, man. Like I said, we have a couple snakes from your collection, and I can't speak any higher than I possibly can of the snakes that you produce.
Both of you guys, I like fangirl your stuff on Instagram all the time. So amazing animals.
Thank you guys. Well, God bless, man. Have a good night. Noah, good talking to you guys, man. Have a great night, guys.
It's awesome talking to you, man. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
So Noah, is there anything that you want to talk about? I mean, is there any projects? I know we covered some of them earlier. We can always end with a positive note. Chris likes to do. So, if I know we all have a ton of things to get done.
I mean, yeah, I mean, like, I guess the main stuff now for me, like, getting a lot more into the labyrinths, and I want to start getting lava into like the bloods and the leopards are my two main focus. It'd probably be blood first,
You guys should.
next year, because like there's like we were talking about, there's like different qualities, and I've seen so many albino and sunglow bloods that grow up and they look like, you know, nothing. You know, there's no color on them. They don't really look anything special. And it's like, what's the point of this big expensive snake if it's not going to look good as an adult? So I have some. I made some bloods last season that are growing up, and they had the dad was right from Tom Burke, like the father of the litter, and the mom was from Frank Martin. So she was a orange gasm lipstick, and or I'm sorry, just a straight orange gasm, and the dad was a lipstick. So the father of the litter was a lipstick orange gasm, and then the mom was a groovy coral. So they're really colorful. They're really gorgeous bloods. And I noticed when you guys talk about the feeding issue too, with the cow bloods, I haven't had feeding issues, but I think like 4 years ago or so, I made a litter of sharp bloods, and I had such a hard time getting them to eat. It took me forever. Like, I mean, and like there were some that took a really long time to shed too. Like they took like a month or
Yeah.
two to shed. But I mean, once they started eating, they were fine. But it took me a really long time, and I ended up force feeding one of the fire opal, or, you know, sharp sunglow bloods, because I was like, I'm not letting this thing, like, you know, starve to death.
Yeah, we got to
So
that point.
they did start eating, and then they were good to go, but it took forever. Yeah.
Definitely, you know, like we're working on a lot of that blood stuff too. If there's any projects you want to tag team, or if you need some new blood in the litter, you know, let us know. We'll work some deals out if you want.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited to see what you guys come out with your season. You got a lot of cool stuff. Yeah, I was just checking them out.
Yeah, we have a base of ours is Vin Russo bloods is where we
Oh, cool.
based ours out of. Because that's the other thing, is that I think a lot of people need to do the research on the bloods. There's some bloods that, like you said, they deteriorate in color as they get older, and that's what we've really looked at, is trying to find bloods that hold that red. You know, they don't brown out.
I definitely think that's one of those morphs you invest in for quality, long term.
Yeah, 100%. Like, why are you gonna get a blood for 600 when you could get a really nice blood for 700? Like, you're already spending the money. You know, like, go get it from the guy who's got the nice one. Yeah, no, I totally agree with you guys. And I see Vinny. I do the White Plains Expo in New York, and then there's one in New Hampshire that I do, and I see Vinny at the New York one all the time, and we're always going back and forth. And I came very close at the show in, I think, April, when I saw him, to getting one of the bloods on his table. Like, I was so close to getting it, but I was talking to another guy, and his aren't het Cal, so it just would have it would have taken a lot longer for me. But he just has like the most high quality bloods out there. You know, obviously you guys know you have stuff from him, but yeah, it's he's a great guy. I like him.
Yeah, that's where we're just trying to, you know, it sounds like, what's funny is, like, before we even met you, like, we're running down the same roads. You know, we're doing the lava, we're doing the bloods, we're doing
the
leopard stuff. I mean, it's
yeah.
I think that the longevity in this is the recessives. You know, if you can invest the time, and, you know, it's going to show in the animals, and that's where we're trying to, like, ours are, you know, blood is our main line, but, you know, we're going to have offshoots of that do different things. And
Black devils. If either of us do black devils.
We don't work with any of the black devils. No, you don't do anything with black devils, do you?
No, I don't have. They're awesome, but I don't have any. The black-eyed Anery IMGs, and then there's ghost devils and black devil motleys and stuff. But they're really cool.
For us, just having so much blood in our collection, it gets like muddy.
Yeah.
Having both.
You know? I'm excited to see what the VPI snow bloods will look like from it, because I haven't seen any of the like the moon glow cow bloods yet, and I know like there's hets out there and people have them, but they're kind of like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
it's like normal triple het bloody snow, so it's like crazy odds to try and get it. You know, it's the
yeah. What is it, like
but
1 in
it'd be pretty
32 or
cool.
something? I think it's like your odds when it's a triple,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
1 in 64 or something. It's crazy. So that's where like we're so that's what we're trying to do is we're trying to take that bloodline and just enhance it as best we can. It sounds like you're doing the same
Awesome.
thing, so it's going to be fun watching you and seeing what you're doing. And
Yeah,
so um,
absolutely. Likewise, I'm excited to see, especially you guys got some lava now too. Those are heavy hitters.
yeah, that's I'm ready to see the Mandarin belly and the lava together.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
That
gonna be like safety orange.
would be insane. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that'd be cool.
So we're
Because
just
I
like you
always
said.
thought the Mandarin belly, like
What's that?
the only ones I'd seen were sharps, I think, for the Mandarin bellies, the leopard stuff. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's
You guys can get
only in
lava into
Europe.
it.
I haven't seen much of it over here.
No, yeah, yeah. I only see it online.
So I
Yeah.
know we're gonna try to breed quality, and you know, but yeah. So I mean, if you want, I know Chris likes to finish with one positive note before the end of the show. Um, is there something that you want to put out there in the world?
Geez. From me, I don't know. I guess just be definitely think everyone just needs to be a little bit, I guess, nicer and understanding and in general, but also in the community. I saw somebody like made a comment about gatekeeping info or things like that. Like my DMs are always open, you know, for anything.
Well, I think
Whether it's, you know, snakes or whatever.
and I think that's a touchy situation because I've had to think about that a lot because you know with us being new to the industry, it does feel like there's a lot of gatekeeping. But I also look at it from a business standpoint, is that I can't open up my playbook to everybody. You know, I can't. You know, there's certain information that we
Yeah,
do
sure.
have to hold close to our chest because you know we're all chasing the first. We're trying to produce the best animals that we can, and I think that while there is some information that should be gate kept because that's kind of like your IP for your company for your snakes. It would be nice to have more transparency on the keeping, more transparency on the morph itself. I feel like some of that's where
Yeah, definitely.
we're the same way you are.
Yeah,
Noah.
there's a difference in giving out your entire playbook of breeding plans and
Yeah.
helping someone understand why a morph is worth investing in, or
Yeah,
there's
exactly.
a difference
Or what
there. Like,
what it is. Yeah. And like I mean there's been so many times where I've had people like messaging me like, "Oh, like I got this snake, like what should I breed it to or whatever," and they don't buy one for me, or
yeah,
oh, I got this snake, how do you do? And it's like, yeah, it's like kind of annoying, but it's also like if I don't help this person, like this snake is probably not going to end up, you know, doing great or whatever. So and I don't know. It's always weird, you know, like sometimes you feel like you get messages out of the blue, like, why are you messaging me? Like, I don't know where you got this or what's wrong with it, or, you know, like, or, but I don't know. I always try to help people as best I can. And I don't know what they're going through or what their situation is, you know, you never know what's going on. So,
Yeah, I think that's like I said. I think that the gatekeeping and my general outlook on life is it's 10% of every group messes it up for everybody. You know, there's always
yeah.
outliers that are the pains in the butts, and I think that we've run into a couple of them in the industry too, where it's you know they want to just on simple stuff want to hold back information, but it's I think it's more. I think it's farther. It's less rampant than what you think, but it kind of goes back to that restaurant theory. It goes back to the restaurant theory. You can go to a restaurant and have 10 great meals. You don't tell anybody about the 10 great meals, but the one time you have bad service, that's what gets blurted out. So it tends to be skewed more to the side of gatekeeping or somebody being a butthead rather than all the good things that come out of the industry. So I would like to change that and get people feeling more confident about, talking to us as breeders, because we're supposed to be the experts, and if we
exactly,
and as close to
the example too,
So, but I mean, it's one of those things. I think that everybody has to kind of look at it as like, what questions am I asking? But also to your point, it's if every snake keeper hit up every breeder about, hey, what should I pair this with, or what should I do this with? That's a lot of time. That's a lot of, it's an investment, and that's why people should do their research and buy from reputable breeders that are going to help them. Right. We have a policy like, so if you buy one of our snakes and 2 years from now you can't take care of it, call us up. Like, no questions asked. Hey, we'll take care of it. We'll get him back into health. We'll, and if you have problems keeping, he's not eating, he's not doing this, call us. We'll help you figure that out. That's part of our job as being breeders and suppliers of these snakes to people, is that, they're all lives, and we have to help people take care of them. And if you deal with a breeder and you buy, especially a high-end, any snake, really, you need to really think twice about who you're working with if they're not willing to help you with the simple things. Because, I mean, husbandry, it's like all three of us, we all do something a little bit different, and it's all based on, and the beauty of it is, like, we all work together. Is, I'm not from Arizona, but if somebody contacts me from Arizona, I'm having a humidity issue, I can point them in the right direction. I can say, hey, like, here's a keeper that's over there. Like, they're a great guy. Like, talk to them. They'll be able to point you in the right direction. But I think too much, it's people look at it too much like a competition and not as a community. Yeah. And we have,
it's also egos too, I think, get in the way.
What's that?
I said I think egos get in the way a lot too. People get like big heads pretty quick, I've noticed.
And that's been an interesting.
That's been interesting.
You're a snake breeder, like, like, we're all here, like, relax, like.
But some people are like the gift to snake breeding.
Oh yeah, of course.
And that's where it's been interesting seeing, like, the more that it's funny to talk to them and see how much less they know.
Yeah.
It's
they get very defensive, and
and that's where, like, I'll tell anybody, if you talk to a breeder, you should be able to ask questions. Yeah. Limit the questions to pertinent things. Like, don't ask for, hey, what was the
great grandparents?
That gets a little bit much, because, like, I've seen somebody show me, like, a thread where they were asking for, like, 3 generations before, and, like, what the litter, and it was like,
if you're paying like 10,000 plus, I'll consider it.
But it's very interesting.
I get that, and, like, a lot of customers will, like, if you're talking with them about their snake, they'll be like, oh, actually, I have this other snake I got from somebody else, and then, like, you're in a million questions about that snake too, and it's fine. That's all part of it. I have no problem with it, but it's just funny how quickly the conversations, and all of a sudden you're there all night on your phone, like, responding to a million people, trying to keep up with everyone's, like, oh, you had this and you had that. No, it definitely gets to be a lot sometimes, but
And that would be
gotta find time. Part of the game.
my biggest recommendation is to anybody out there that's looking to buy snakes is do your research on the breeder.
Yeah.
Like, do your research on the snake, but doing the research on the breeder is just as important. You know, work with people that
Oh yeah.
work with people that will, you know, fully disclose what's going on. Or, you know, if you're having a heating issue, I mean, that's where we do boa rescues too. We got 10,
Oh, awesome.
8 or 10, 8 to 10 boa rescues. 2 of them were doom rolls, and they were just poor husbandry. You know, they were like, this snake is terrible. It tries to tear my arm off every time I open it, and now they're like the biggest puppy dog that we own. But I think it comes down to, if you overheat a snake, they're going to be more defensive. If they're not getting in the heat that they need, they're going to be more defensive.
Yeah, you just gotta
you
give them
know,
what they need.
or if you're not feeding them correctly. I mean, don't give me food for a day. I'm a little feisty.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. Get some angry.
So, but yeah, I mean, no, man, we appreciate you coming on. Been an awesome.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. It was great to meet you. Yeah, super fun.
Yeah,
And like anytime you guys, I'm happy to come back anytime.
yeah. What we'll try to do is, I've been talking to Chris, trying to do kind of a morph specific kind of show where we can actually show some people some snakes.
Yeah.
You know, kind of have it set aside, like, hey, if you want to cover a couple morphs, we'll cover a couple morphs, and actually have pictures that we can put up in video. Yeah, and animals, and show.
Oh, cool. Yeah, yeah.
I think that would be huge, because I think a lot of people don't quite understand the nuances in the morphs.
Yeah.
You know, and I think the more that we get morphs, the more they're going to blend. I mean, I think there's 4 now that are classified as ladder tails. You know, you have your Incas, Oswells, your square tails. You have, like, you know, and that's one thing that I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be key to this industry, is educating people on what they're actually getting. You know, and that's where I think that there's some gatekeeping with it, but there's also I think some of these breeders just don't know the morphs as well as they think they do.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that is definitely something I learned. Like, you know, like the farther you get into this, and like the longer you're in it, you realize like you don't actually know. You know, it's like there's been multiple people I've talked to them, like, you don't actually know, like, for sure, you know, you're just guessing what's in this, or you're not really sure what's going on. You know, I've had a lot of that realization.
Well, I see a lot of.
Yeah, I'm happy.
I see a lot of snakes labeled as like het dominant genes, and like just you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Well, that we actually
100. Yeah, I see snakes that aren't what they are too.
Just flat out the wrong species.
Like big you know, like really? Yeah, like, are you really doing this right now?
Well, we had actually one of our friends make a comment to us about that, basically that it was 66%, or it was a percentage.
Partial het.
It was a partial het, is what they kept calling it. Like, so some of the
instead of
and it's like, no, that's not. No,
it gets hard too, because how do you have that conversation without sounding like a jerk?
Yeah, like, and I think
no, I totally hear you.
That's what I would want to kind of focus on.
Because again, the egos, people are like, I can't be wrong. Like, this person's gonna tell me, no way. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's where, like, I like the education side of it. I like trying to get people, because I think the more that people understand about these snakes, the farther this hobby will progress.
Yeah.
You know, and those are the things, like, you know, we found out, because we do some of the blood, the pewter and the plasma stuff, the ANRI2 gene and blood.
Yep.
You know, nobody told me initially that ANRI2 is incompatible with call. That you can't put those two together. You'll just create hets. And, you know, nobody told us that. That was kind of like, I found that out whenever I was doing the research. Yeah. I was doing the research, and I was like, man, I love I love the pewter stuff.
What else can we do?
What can we do with it? And first thing that came up was it's incompatible with call. That's how they figured out that there was an Anery 2 and not the Anery 1 and the Anery 2 are two different things. And, you know, those are things that, you know, that could be detrimental to somebody. You know, if you invest the money in call Anery 2 and you get halfway down it, you know.
Shed test.
What's that?
We're giving away a free shed test.
If you haven't heard, that's for boas though, or ball pythons. If you haven't heard, I was sourcing.
Yeah, is that a ball python?
I think it's ball
Is
pythons.
that the shed test for the? I think that's for ball pythons. Do they have them for boas yet? Do you know? Noah?
Yeah. I'm not sure. I mean, I know Warren Booth was doing some kind of like things, but I don't think it is like it is for ball pythons.
Yeah.
He was mostly doing that to see if like boas were parthos or not.
I'm kind of on the fence about the shed testing. How do you feel about it, Noah?
I don't really know enough, honestly, about it. It's pretty new. I know with the like the arenavirus swab testing to those labs, like those aren't super reliable. They'll usually show like a positive if it's a positive, but they'll oftentimes not show a negative. I kind of like experimented with them for like I like swabbed myself one time and sent the swab in and it came back positive for arena. Like, you know, like I sent in like an empty swab that came back positive, and then they were like it was a weird thing. And then like I would send in blood tests like I do blood tests at the vet for arenavirus. And they would come back negative, but the swabs would be all over the place. Like, and then I like confronted them on it, and they told me that I was cross-contaminating, which I wasn't, you know. So it was I'm always like a little bit hesitant on those ones, but for the blood tests are usually pretty reliable. But obviously, arena is hard to diagnose. Period. You know, it's like they might have it, but they might not test positive if they have it, which is why I quarantined for 6 months now.
Yeah,
I think it would be great. I don't know really enough about it, but I think it's great if it's real and works.
I'm kind of on the fence, and and this is my thought process. Is I feel like ball pythons with the shed test, people just pair everything now. Like they just throw.
It's careless pairing now because all you have to do is send in
and they don't even know what's in it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess if the shed test they can, but I mean, for a long time, people were making like 6-7 gene ball pythons. There was like past this or hidden gene or whatever. Yeah.
And that's where like the issue was that I started seeing because ball python breeders, because they have that to fall back on now, they're not using their and I don't want to generalize anything, but you know, the judgment kind of goes away because you're like, oh, well, I can shed test it. Like I'll stick these
there's no like
recessives together, and you just end up creating
no, like,
a bunch of
accountability for like what you're creating anymore.
Yeah.
So I kind of see it as a double-edged sword.
No, it is a way.
I think if it's used correctly,
I didn't think of that.
But I worry about that as something that. Sorry, our boxer's in here. He hasn't had any attention. He has to come
deprived.
Here and say hi.
He's very old.
Him's an old man. But yeah, I mean it's one of those things. Like, let's definitely get together and talk about some ideas. And I'm open for whatever. And like, maybe we can do some different things and kind of do some educational ones. I know Chris is up for it.
Definitely.
You know, this is his podcast. He lets us host and do different things, and we're appreciative for that. And it's an awesome channel. So yeah, let's definitely get together. I'll definitely be following your projects because you're right in line with everything we're doing. I'm excited.
Yeah, so likewise. Yeah, I'll definitely be following you guys.
So, well, Noah, we appreciate it. You stay safe out there. The tornadoes all pass, or you guys still?
Yeah, no, it's all good now. Yeah, you know, the light was flickering and everything, but I haven't had a tornado warning in like years. That was crazy. But no, we're all good. Thankfully, everything's good. But yeah, no, it was great meeting you guys. Thanks again for having me on. I appreciate it. We'll yeah, definitely stay in touch.
All right. Appreciate it, Noah.
All right, guys, have a good weekend. Later.